When dealing with electrical metallic tubing, often referred to as EMT, understanding the National Electrical Code, specifically Article 358.30, is crucial for ensuring safe and compliant installations. Article 358.30 addresses the securing and supporting requirements for EMT. When an EMT run involves a vertical drop from, for example, a building's ceiling to equipment below, and this drop exceeds 10 feet, it necessitates careful consideration of the code stipulations. The NEC mandates that EMT be securely fastened in place at specific intervals to prevent it from sagging, moving, or becoming damaged, which could compromise the integrity of the electrical system. Typically, EMT must be supported at least every 10 feet. However, for vertical runs, exceeding this 10-foot interval can introduce mechanical stress and potential instability. In situations where a vertical drop passes the 10-foot limit, alternative methods to EMT might be considered to provide adequate support and flexibility. One viable option is to use flexible metal conduit, often referred to as seal-tight, or electrical cord. When employing either of these alternatives, it's imperative to utilize the appropriate strain relief connectors. Strain relief connectors are designed to grip the flexible conduit or cord securely, preventing any tension or pulling forces from being transmitted to the electrical connections within the equipment or junction boxes. These connectors are essential for maintaining the long-term reliability and safety of the installation. Firstly, let's delve into the use of seal-tight, which is a type of flexible metal conduit encased in a liquid-tight, non-metallic covering. Seal-tight offers a degree of flexibility that EMT lacks, making it well suited for applications where movement or vibration is anticipated. When using seal-tight for vertical drops exceeding 10 feet, select a product that is listed and labeled for the intended application. Ensure that the seal-tight is adequately supported to prevent it from sagging or becoming damaged. The port interval should comply with the manufacturer's recommendations and the NEC requirements. Secondly, consider electrical cord as an alternative. Electrical cord, typically consisting of insulated conductors within a flexible jacket, is often used for connecting equipment that requires mobility or is subject to frequent movement. When using electrical cord for a vertical drop, it's crucial to select a cord type that is suitable for the environment and the electrical load. The cord must be supported properly to prevent strain on the conductors and terminations. Employ strain relief connectors at both ends of the cord to secure it to the equipment and the junction box. These connectors should be sized appropriately for the cord diameter and designed to withstand the anticipated pulling forces. Thirdly, regardless of whether seal-tight or electrical cord is chosen, the selection of the correct strain relief connector is paramount. Strain relief connectors come in various designs, each suited for specific types of conduit or cord in different environmental conditions. Choose a connector that provides a secure grip on the conduit or cord without damaging the insulation or jacket. The connector should also be resistant to corrosion and other environmental factors that could degrade its performance over time. When installing strain relief connectors, follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Ensure that the connector is properly tightened to provide adequate strain relief. Over-tightening can damage the conduit or cord, while under-tightening can result in slippage and loss of strain relief. Fourthly, it is good practice to consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer to ensure that the chosen alternative meets the NEC requirements in any local codes or regulations. An inspector can provide valuable guidance on the proper installation techniques and the selection of appropriate materials. Engaging with an inspector early in the process can help prevent costly rework and ensure a safe and compliant installation. Fifthly, consider the environmental conditions when selecting seal-tight or electrical cord and strain relief connectors. In damp or corrosive environments, choose materials that are resistant to moisture and chemicals. Seal-tight with a liquid-tight jacket and corrosion-resistant connectors can provide added protection in these conditions. Similarly, for outdoor applications, select materials that are UV-resistant and can withstand temperature extremes. Sixthly, when transitioning from EMT to seal-tight or electrical cord, use appropriate fittings to ensure a secure and code-compliant connection. These fittings should be listed for the intended use and compatible with both the EMT and the flexible conduit or cord. Follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing these fittings and ensure that all connections are properly tightened and insulated. Seventhly, regularly inspect the installation to ensure that the supports and strain relief connectors remain secure and in good condition. Over time, vibration, temperature changes, and other factors can cause connections to loosen or materials to degrade. Periodic inspections can help identify and address potential problems before they lead to electrical hazards or equipment failures. Eighthly, proper grounding and bonding are essential for any electrical installation, including those involving EMT, seal-tight, and electrical cord. Ensure that all components are properly grounded and bonded in accordance with the NEC requirements. Grounding and bonding provide a low impedance path for fault currents, which helps to protect against electrical shock and equipment damage. Ninthly, document the installation, including the materials used, the installation method employed, and any deviations from the standard EMT installation. This documentation can be valuable for future maintenance and troubleshooting. It can also help to demonstrate compliance with the NEC and other applicable codes and regulations. Tenthly, remember that safety is paramount when working with electricity. Always de-energize the circuit before performing any electrical work. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and eye protection, to protect against electrical shock and other hazards. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, consult a qualified electrician. Remember that using cord or seal tight in place of EMT for vertical drops exceeding 10 feet is acceptable, provided that the appropriate strain reliefs are used. The decision to use cord or seal tight depends on factors such as the application's requirements, the environmental conditions, and the available space. Selecting the correct material and following the proper installation procedures are essential for ensuring a safe and compliant electrical installation. NEC Table 300.11 provides requirements for securing and supporting wiring and cable. Section 300.11 addresses securing and supporting. Wiring and cables must be securely supported. Wiring and cables must be supported in a manner that does not damage the cable. Section 300.11 B addresses fire-rated assemblies. Wiring and cables installed in fire-rated assemblies must be installed in a manner that does not compromise the fire rating of the assembly. If penetrations or openings are made, they must be fire-stopped. Section 300.11 C addresses hollow spaces used as ducts or plenums for environmental air. Wiring and cables installed in hollow spaces used as ducts or plenums for environmental air must comply with Section 300.22. Section 314.17 provides requirements for number of conductors in outlet, device, and junction boxes, and conduit bodies. Section 314.17 addresses box volume calculations. The volume of a box must be sufficient to accommodate the number and size of conductors, devices, and fittings installed in the box. Section 314.17 B addresses box fill calculations. The number of conductors permitted in a box is determined by the volume of the box and the size of the conductors. Section 314.17 C addresses conduit fill calculations. The number of conductors permitted in a conduit is determined by the size of the conduit and the type of conductors. Section 330.30 provides requirements for securing and supporting metal-clad cable. Section 330.30 addresses general. Metal-clad cable must be secured and supported at intervals not exceeding 6 feet. Section 330.30 B addresses horizontal runs. Horizontal runs of metal-clad cable must be supported at intervals not exceeding 4½ feet. Section 330.30 C addresses vertical runs. Vertical runs of metal-clad cable must be supported at intervals not exceeding 10 feet. Section 334.30 provides requirements for securing and supporting non-metallic sheathed cable. Section 334.30 addresses general. Non-metallic sheathed cable must be secured and supported at intervals not exceeding 4½ feet. Section 334.30. B addresses horizontal runs. Horizontal runs of non-metallic sheaths cable must be supported at intervals not exceeding 4½ feet. Section 334.30. C addresses vertical runs. Vertical runs of non-metallic sheath cable must be supported at intervals not exceeding 10 feet. When dealing with electrical installations, especially those involving EMT, it is crucial to adhere to the regulations outlined in the National Electrical Code, or NEC. Article 358 specifically addresses EMT, providing guidelines for its proper installation and use. Within Article 358, Section 358.30 focuses on securing and supporting EMT, ensuring that it is installed in a manner that maintains its structural integrity and prevents hazards. According to the NEC, EMT must be securely fastened in place at intervals not exceeding 10 feet. This requirement aims to prevent the conduit from sagging, moving, or becoming damaged, which could compromise the electrical system's safety. In certain situations, such as when running EMT vertically from a building's ceiling to equipment located below, the length of the run may exceed 10 feet. In such cases, the question arises whether it is permissible to use alternative methods such as flexible metal conduit or electrical cord to ensure proper support and flexibility. The NEC recognizes the need for flexibility in certain installations and allows for the use of alternative methods, provided that they meet specific requirements. When using flexible metal conduit, commonly referred to as seal-tight or electrical cord, it is essential to employ the appropriate strain relief connectors. Strain relief connectors are designed to grip the flexible conduit or cord securely, preventing tension or pulling forces from being transmitted to the electrical connections within the equipment or junction boxes. These connectors are crucial for maintaining the long-term reliability and safety of the installation. The NEC specifies the types of strain relief connectors that are permitted for use with different types of flexible conduit and electrical cord. It is important to select a connector that is listed and labeled for the intended application and that is compatible with the materials being used. In addition to using strain relief connectors, it is also important to ensure that the flexible conduit or electrical cord is properly supported. The NEC provides guidelines for supporting these materials, specifying the maximum intervals at which they must be secured to prevent sagging or damage. The support intervals may vary depending on the type of material being used and the specific application. When transitioning from EMT to flexible conduit or electrical cord, it is important to use appropriate fittings to ensure secure and code-compliant connection. These fittings should be listed for the intended use and compatible with both the EMT and the flexible conduit or cord. The NEC also provides guidelines for grounding and bonding electrical systems. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for preventing electrical shock hazards and ensuring the safe operation of electrical equipment. When installing EMT flexible conduit or electrical cord, it is important to follow the NEC guidelines for grounding and bonding to ensure that the electrical system is properly protected. It is also important to consult a qualified electrical inspector or engineer to ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and regulations. An inspector can provide valuable guidance on the proper installation techniques and the selection of appropriate materials. Engaging with an inspector early in the process can help prevent costly rework and ensure a safe and compliant installation. In summary, when making a vertical drop from a building's ceiling to equipment located below, and the length of the run exceeds 10 feet, it is permissible to use flexible metal conduit or electrical cord in place of EMT, provided that the appropriate strain relief connectors are used and that the installation meets all applicable NEC requirements. Consulting with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer is recommended to ensure compliance with all codes and regulations.